Here's some sad truths about the coming years and decades. There are going to be a hell of a lot of these stories popping up, and oh man, it's going to be important, and something that I pointed out way back a few months ago at this point in time when all of this stuff was initially starting to bubble towards the top of the, what is it now? The 59% of people that manage to make it out alive once they go through all of the surgery. There is a significant amount of regret and people wanting to, just return back to a time when everything was normal. It's almost like there's some predators that are out there that just want to indoctrinate and ruin people's lives, not understanding that, at 13, 14 years old, maybe you're just going through some chemical changes that maybe everybody else has that, maybe, for boys, when they start figuring out that there was hair there today where there wasn't yesterday, and, you got certain feelings about other people that you weren't having before, and then especially for the girls that we're going to be talking about in this one, they're definitely going through some huge structural, physiological, hormonal changes at the time, and they feel completely out of sorts. But then instead of just, reaffirming them that, yeah, that's totally normal, you'll get over this, they've got the, nope, you're actually a boy. You know that yesterday you were basically built like your same aged male compatriots. No. It's not that you're going through those natural changes. It's that you're actually supposed to be a boy. We're going to see a lot of these regret stories pop up, and I'm going to be highlighting them because it's sad, man. It's really sad. Like, I've got nothing against people who, once they reach a certain age, they want to go out there and they want to, chop, cut, tuck, pull, whatever the hell they want to. Go for it, man, as long as it doesn't come out of my pockets. But unfortunately, this is a Canadian story, so it is coming out of my pockets. I love that universal healthcare system. People close to me can't get a CT scan or a hernia surgery in a reasonable amount of time. But hey, if you want to go get your titties lopped off, stunning and brave. Yuck. No, but like I said, you're going to be seeing these stories pop up a whole lot, and then you're going to start to see some lawsuits against the doctors, against the coaches, or the therapists that were out there just giving all of this bad, life-threatening information. Because let's keep it a buck, these subjects that get put through this torturous, laborious, evil surgery, they come out the other side with the initial thought that, oh yeah, this is totally reversible if I don't like it, not knowing that you think being put on years and years of hormonal therapy, having things lopped off that can't be put back on top of, also coming out as sterile, so knowing that you're never going to procreate in your entire life. They don't tell you that up front. They just want to get people indoctrinated to their cause, because just like crabs in a bucket, misery loves company. Canadian detransitioner says she feels nauseous because others like her still continue to push pro-transgender message, while ostracizing her for saying she regrets getting boobs and uterus removed. Completely and totally ruined. You're just walking around as a husk as an individual. Now, I understand that there are certain people that are out there that go through some very traumatic things, but those are normally instances like a cancer or something like that, that is well beyond their own choice. This was self-afflicted. And that side of the aisle that wants to continue to push all this messaging wants to tell you that, there's a mental health crisis and people need to get the help that they need. So what's your definition of the help that they need? No. Just go through all of this surgery instead of, just figuring out that, you're depressed because you don't go to the gym instead of going to the gym because you're depressed. Makes a lot of sense, but I'm the asshole for pointing that out. Anyways, a Canadian detransitioned woman, that's a woman, sort of, said that she feels ostracized from others and is left feeling nauseous as the community continues a push pro-trans gentleman medical intervention. In a post on her Substack blog, Michelle, used to be Michael, I would imagine, Zacchigna, 34, who goes by the pen name Michelle Alleva, I would imagine. I don't know. Michelle, going forward. Second. No, I can pronounce that one. Said that she spent a lot of her time in detransition spaces with a bunch of other people, knowing that, we made some problems. We made some bad choices. At the end of November 2022, Michelle said that she attended a symposium on detransition research held at the York University in Toronto and was disappointed by how they downplayed experiences of regret. That's a pretty big chunk, okay? That's just not because all of these stories are starting to pop up now. It's there's a significant portion of the people that go through all of the surgery, the hormonal treatment, the irreversible stuff. Like, even you're seeing it from some of the most vocal cry bullies right now. There's one who was very famous, over last summer. Got Nick Ricada taken off of YouTube. Keffels, or whatever. Used it. Another Canadian. What the fuck is wrong with this place? But anyways, think was a dude, became a chick, but then started to shitpost about the regret about becoming a female. Then got kicked to the side by that group, and then is now being exposed as a scammer. So, it's almost like, yeah, you might have a mental health problem. Going under the knife isn't going to solve what's wrong between the ears. It was difficult for me to sit in a room where panels of people with no regrets about their medical history emphasize the importance of unquestioning access to medically treating. Okay, but that's after the fact. At least she didn't undergo any sort of, facial reconstructive surgery, but you can tell, right? Like, the jawline's a little bit more defined, and especially as opposed to, that's the way that she was living at the time for how long? I've met so many people who have been irreparably harmed by the same treatment. The 34-year-old listed several people that she said had been affected by transition treatments. I know people with ongoing vocal pain from testosterone use. Yeah, I'm fine with testosterone because genetically, I'm a guy. I know people who've been devastated by their inability to ever breastfeed their children. Yeah, I know people who might never enjoy sexual intimacy again. Yeah, I don't know how far you took your surgery. That's for true, especially if you're a woman who went to become a man and then now became a woman again. Did you lose that little strip of flesh that was also on your forearm as well? Because that's never going to be a penis. Because, that's what they do. And then they install a pump. So that actually gives me chills just thinking about how perverse that is. But that's the science, guys. Remember, trust the experts. Ugh. I know people who might, never enjoy sexual intimacy again, either because of they're horrified by their own bodies, because their libidos are completely shot. Yes, because of unnatural hormonal abuse. It absolutely buggers your endocrine system. You can't produce your own hormones again. It's just something that happens, man. It's like when athletes go on steroids, like their natural testosterone levels go through the floor at a certain point, or because sex is now physically painful. I know people who have been made infertile by this treatment. I myself, not me. I'm perfectly fine. All systems go. Have sat sobbing as I processed the reality that during my darkest years of my life, I was insistent on eradicating one of the last indicators of female I had. When I had resolutely wanted to bear children my entire life before then. Great. I know people deep in addiction because they are convinced it is the only way they can make it through the day after everything they've been through. Yeah, exactly. That's why that statistic of 41% is at the place that it is. I know people who can't get out of bed because they believe the best parts of their lives have been stolen from them. I've seen and felt so much pain, so much I still keep myself one step back from it. Why do you got to put the kid picture there and once again make me feel sad? Michelle said transitioning for her and thousands of others going through detransition was a coping mechanism for dealing with trauma, hatred of ourselves, and a number of comorbid conditions. It altered our bodies, it destroyed our natural functioning, it gave us chronic pain and lifelong complications, and left us feeling broken and alone, she wrote. I'm angry that the perception of detransitioners that was given to the audience was one of people who embrace the idea of gender diversity. Go to hell. People who frame their experiences perhaps as a gender journey. Yeah. The number of times I heard that phrase throughout my day made me nauseous. Yeah, because it's just more made-up gobbledygook. It only reinforces the idea that transition rarely harms even the people who feel it was ultimately wrong for them. Well, she doesn't blame her community. I would, because you're not going to change until you can identify the cancer that's within your own tribe, I guess. She does stress that until both sides of the transitioning story need to be addressed, or there will be more people in desperate need of support. Oh, there will be. Just like sad, desperate old cat moms with a stack of old empty box wine containers when they turn 45, 50, 60 years old, writing screeds about how feminism lied to them. You're going to be seeing those stories the exact same way. If any of them, not wishing anything ill against them, I'm just, playing the numbers, if they live to be that long. You're going to be seeing so many more of these stories. I've watched as detransitioners who have been in this for years slowly harden their stances as they are, at best, ignored and, at worst, humiliated and threatened, she wrote. I am 2 years out from my detransitioning, and my patience, too, has worn thin. It has been 11 years since Michelle had her mastectomy, so she was 23-year-old titties that got thrown away. That hurts me. That hurts me worse than anything else that's been presented so far. Adding that while she was, or has accepted how she looks, there is still time she's caught off guard. There's still moments where I remove my shirt and change my breath. My breath catches, and my mind leaves my body. I have no way of predicting when it will happen. The reality will never go for me. I'll still be living in this body long after everyone has moved on to whatever the next big scandal is. But okay, so this is the roadmap that she went through. So, okay, Michelle approaches 35, so she'll be 35 this year, so it makes her 2 years older. So, okay, so she would have been, 20 at the time when Michelle starts to see a therapist after a suicide attempt, 2009. She started thinking about her gender critically at age 21, questioned her gender identity after reading a gender identity on Tumblr. Michelle attends a Toronto support group in 2010 where the therapist puts her forward for hormone therapy after just one appointment lasting less than an hour. Those are your mental health professionals, ladies and gentlemen, who Michelle was seeing following a 2008 suicide attempt, reportedly says she has an ideal candidate for hormone therapy. Great, fantastic. After 1 hour meeting. So yeah, instead of getting to the bottom of previous trauma in the past 20 years of your life, nah, you're a man. So yeah, fast forward 2016, Michelle stops taking testosterone at this point, identifies as non-binary. 2017, Michelle is referred for a full psychological assessment, just about a decade after she initially reached out for mental health treatment. Makes sense that you finally go under a full psychological assessment, where she is diagnosed with autism, ADHD, MDD, and traits of PTSD. I wonder where the PTSD comes from. MDD. Maybe I'm retarded, but I don't know what MDD is. Another professional refers Michelle for a hysterectomy to remove her uterus. Which is completed in May of 2018. Oh, so instead of, unbelievable. Then it took her an additional, 2 years after that, after the butcher shop came through. Michelle says that she reflects on her diagnosis and decides to detransition. Man, all the damage is done. She says that her days of advocacy are slowly slipping away because she feels tired and broken despite this fight being far from over. Ooh, I think she's about to add to that 41%. This doesn't sound good. Don't do that. You still can have a voice in whatever this movement you're trying to further is. At the end of it, nothing I do is advocacy for me. I've always known and accepted this, but time has made me grow resentful of the effort I've put in. I'm not getting enough out of it to justify what I'm losing. I wanted to change the world, but every action I take is criticized by someone who thinks they can do better. Yeah, that's that side of the aisle, man. You can never be pure enough, which is what's actually outlined right here. I wanted female solidarity. You wanted the sisterhood uber alles? Yeah, but you're not pure enough. But if I don't meet the purity test, I just called a handmaiden. Yeah, you just get called a pick-me girl. Wanted justice, but ultimately, I will probably get skipped over. Michelle underwent surgery to remove her breasts, uterus, and is now suing the healthcare providers who reported to have facilitated her transition. And that's ultimately where the change is going to occur, and the more stringent regulation, because that's the only hope that you can get up here in Canada, that's what's going to end up happening, because there's such a hardcore press in order to try to push people onto the system, because there's no nefarious satanic cabal at the top of this stuff. It's so much simpler than that. Where does the money go? Where does the money go? You get a lifelong subscription to Big Pharma Incorporated, Big Pharma Monthly, man. Hormone treatments, those surgeries ain't cheap, and you get repeat customers coming back time and time and time again to up those doses. It's a very lucrative business, and that's why it gets pushed, man. You might say that that's demonic. You might say that's evil, and hell, I'd probably agree with you, but it's so much more simple to understand and figure it out that way. And once everybody comes around to that understanding, then you can start effectively attacking it. Yeah, man, I really do wish Michelle nothing but the best. And by the way that you're talking, get off that track, and hopefully you can connect with some people that have been through the same stuff as that, because you don't really sound like you're in that good of a place. But obviously one of your mental health professionals probably should have seen that well beforehand. You didn't have to rely on a guy from northern Alberta, the entire way across the country in order to, get you hip to that concept. But just because you're not making inroads in your own group right there doesn't mean that you can't be an inspiration for other people out there to live in spite of this activist diagnosis. And that by changing yourself and, outliving this travesty, you can do greater work for the mental health problem than any of these trans activists ever could have possibly hoped to accomplish. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.